Coming to you live from the Esports Arena in Oakland, California. It's the Esports Saturday Fight Night Live.
All right, folks, welcome out here to Esports Arena in Oakland. Outstanding in the historic Jack London Square. I'm your host, Idris Alba. No, that show's over. I'm Mikey Noah from NBC Bay Area. Welcome to folks from NBC Los Angeles. Welcome to folks from Twitch who've been watching us for hours compete to earn the spot, to earn the title. The battle for California. We're fighting with Street Fighter V right out here tonight, and we've got quite a tournament, but you guys need to get caught up on what's been happening, and for that, I want to link the world of Twitch with the world of television, and for us, we have our Link. Her name's Kelly Link, a second-generation gamer. Kelly, what's up?
Mike, thank you so much. Kelly Link here, everyone. I'm going to be your host for this event. Joining me here, I got Brass and Vicious. And before we get into the 5v5 matchup, I do have to explain how exactly we got here. So we started off the day with a playoffs, which was an 8-man double elimination bracket to decide the 4 final players that were going to be joining our NorCal and SoCal teams. Now, these players actually had to qualify to even make it to the playoffs. We had 3 qualifiers through the Esports Arena partnership with Walmart. We had 2 qualifiers through the Wednesday Night Fight Santa Ana in Oakland, and then 3 finally through the open bracket that we held here earlier. It has been hours and hours of competition, but it actually started to heat up a little bit when we had the player draft. Vicious, tell me a little bit about what happened in the player draft.
So we saw a lot of the wildcards fill in the top 4 winners of the top 8 bracket playoffs, and both NorCal and SoCal had their eye on one of the competitors, which we'll reveal momentarily, but they were both trying to get that #1 spot and that character on their team. As to who it was, you'll see in just a bit, but again, it was a pretty heated conversation between the 2 teams.
Brass, tell me a little bit about the history of NorCal versus SoCal. This has been going on for a while.
Well, it's one of the most historic rivalries in competitive fighting game history. Ever since Street Fighter II in the early 90s, there's always been contention on which is the strongest California region, and that battle rages on today.
Well, I'm really excited to see the players that are going to be competing today. Let's head on to Mike on the floor.
All right, folks, so we want to get you introduced to the teams. Now, first of all, we know these teams, as they described, they've had 3 players who were, well, professional level players. We knew they were going to play coming in. So we have your team from Northern California. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Team NorCal. For Team NorCal, Samurai, also known as Putivathchia. Hometown, Fresno. Meet Long Win, gamertag LPN. He counts his unorthodox style as one of his biggest strengths. And rounding out Team NorCal, Alex Myers, representing Team Tempo Storm. Alex is a SoCal transplant whose favorite character is Sakura. All right, so you've met those pre-selected players, but tonight we had that tournament, and to get into the finale, all these folks behind us have generated a lot of energy, and they're here to cheer for these 2 from NorCal, joining the NorCal team, selected and drafted by the NorCal team. Over here we have Pavo Mishkic. He's known as Pavocado, outstanding, and he's from San Mateo, so he's a peninsula boy. Good stuff over here on Highway 101. And over here on my right, we have Riley Charlebois, which is a cool enough name already, but he goes by Genesis Frenzy, and he comes from Santa Cruz, just down Highway 17, so quite a drive, quite a visitor, folks. That's the team from NorCal. Now let's get checked in with team from SoCal. From High Desert, Chris Tatarian. His gamer tag is Chris T, and he considers his greatest strength as being a rushdown player. Next up, from Orange County, Brian Terran. Brian's gamer tag is Dankadias. Strength, mix up heavy. Also on Team SoCal is Richard Klink. Hometown is San Diego, and his favorite character is M. Bison. All right, folks, now we have the team from SoCal. You met half of them, or I guess 3/5 of them. And here are the 2 draftees that got selected, hand-selected by them as well. Over here is Frankie Lee Jr. He goes by the gamer tag Stupendous. Can we put an exclamation point on there? All right, we'll do that. He's from Orange County, the OC in SoCal. And over off this side, we have Nigel Butler from Austin, Texas. Nigel's gamer tag is Nigel, well done. Now, one important note about Nigel is that you're from Austin, Texas. That's where you hail from. But he was born in SoCal, so you're representing your roots. That's good stuff. So we have the SoCal team that's finished up here as well. We're going to send it for more action. Back to Kelly.
Guys, looking at those two teams here, what are some thoughts coming at you right now?
I mean, right now, I have to be biased. NorCal is looking really, really strong. I'm happy with the wild card picks we have. I think we were very lucky to get those outside of the draft and outside of the playoffs. So I think Team NorCal is looking really strong.
They look pretty strong. And I also want to comment that it's the most ideal situation for both NorCal and SoCal, right? They still have full rosters coming from NorCal and the full roster coming from SoCal technically with Nigel. Also, Nigel is the one I wanted to talk about. Between NorCal and SoCal, they were fighting for that guy. They were fighting for that wild card because he demolished the top 8 playoff bracket prior to this showing.
Well, guys, I know we're really excited for the action, and we are ready to get into game number 1, everyone. NorCal versus SoCal showdown.
And here we go. Right off the bat, you see Pavocado on the left versus Nigel, which you can expect from Team NorCal's Pavocado. He was playing the character G.
Yes.
Now, we're very much so familiar in the FGC with his pick with Mika, but he's been using this character G on your screen, you're about to see, against Nigel's Balrog, who's just been a powerhouse this entire day.
Absolutely, and you know, both of Pablo's characters are extremely strong, so it's not like there's a bad choice for him to go for here. I think he went for G for the long term. If he wins this, he wants G for the other matchups, because honestly, Mika does great against Balrog.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Here we go. Game number 1 in the format is going to be 5-on-5. Nice block in the overhead right out the gate, but still Pavocado tried to go for something fancy. Got a couple jabs in there. Nice. V-reversal does want to avoid that corner.
We are already seeing really big, risky moves coming from Nigel, but that is what best of ones are like. You need to lay your heart on the line in these when there's no time.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time to adjust. You've only given 2 out of 3 rounds in one game. You have to pull out all the stops and all the mix-ups. Speaking of, Nigel already going with that empty jump low. Nice. Try to check from Pavocado, V-reversal to maintain this offensive pressure from Nigel with a hefty life lead.
Now, the big thing here is how can G activate his trigger to make this comeback happen? That is going to be a big deciding factor if he's going to be able to fight himself back into this round, because he has a hill to climb and he doesn't get the chance.
Nigel understands the kind of frantic movement Pavocado was taking, because he understands if he pops that V-trigger on the bottom left, he'd be able to take full momentum and control once he gets that opening, and Nigel did a great job of suppressing that.
All right, back to neutral now, mostly even. Pavocado does have a really nice meter advantage right now that could pay out big.
Yeah, one of the things I want to note is that G has a very, very particular way of playing. He has what's called a presidentiality meter, which actually buffs his character throughout the entirety of the match until he gets knocked down. If he's able to activate it right, he hasn't been able to do so this entire set against Nigel, but he just got one power up there. But Nigel, he's just roaring like the raging buffalo he is. He's going through the defenses of Pavocado.
Yeah, this might already be over. Pablo has not gotten any room to breathe, but there's the V-trigger activation and a good V-reversal to get that pressure off, but we're right back in there. Whoa. Lucky rush punch into a nice hit confirm, and look, it's all evened up. Oh, and the rush punch
highway robbery in progress. He took it right beneath Nigel, and there you go, sending him into the throne room, the armor, putting him on Nigel. I love how they add that little extra cap on Balrog as he gets sent to the other room, but just like that, it's tied up 1 apiece in game 1.
And Pavocado going to round 3 with a big meter advantage right here. How is it going to pay off? Oh, just right like there. That! He's going to wake up. It's an invincible wake up, so it's going to knock his opponent away, get that full hit. Big damage. Good. Great investment there.
You saw that already past the 50% mark, but Nigel, he's spending his bar. Yo, he checked the dome piece. He tried to knock the hat off. Not going to happen. The mix-up afterwards. He went back for the step, avoided the throw, and that's gonna kill.
That backdash right there baited Pavocado's neutral throw tech, and he was able to punish the recovery frames for big damage. SoCal goes up 1 point.
I mean, you were saying it earlier. They were fighting for Nigel. They wanted it, and clearly this is why.
Yeah, obviously he was a very strong pick from the start. Just watch, you know, I wasn't that familiar with him until today. Watching him work his way through the bracket, it was just over time. I'm like, okay. All right. I see you now. I see you now, for sure.
We were playing a very close eye to how Nigel was going to play. We've seen him time and time again in the online circuit as well. He's done a couple big things at major events in the Capcom Pro Tour, right? Yeah. And you see him right here stepping up to the plate taking down Pavocado. But, you know, Pavocado did have his chance to shine. You see that V-trigger again, being able to take rounds back from the opponent. Boom, gets the opening, gets the combo, and finishes it up again. It could have been a very, you know, either way kind of match for both players. But Nigel just the powerhouse.
Yeah, it absolutely came down to the last type of pressure situation. Could have gone either way at all, and it was really Nigel's really good read at the end to bait out that neutral tech from Pavo and punish the recovery frames.
And Pavo is out of the competition right now, and we actually weren't able to talk about it, but we can take a few moments to talk about it. The format of it, this Pokemon-style tournament. So can you briefly go over that?
So the way that Pokemon style works is that both teams designate their first player that will fight each other. And then as people lose, that team decides who's going to come up to fight the current winner. So basically the current winner has to stick with the character that they've been playing, but the loser who's coming up can pick whoever they like.
So we're going to see Nigel and Balrog in the next game. What do you want to see, though, in match number 2? How are they going to counter it?
So we have up next, we have Nigel versus, I believe, Genesis Frenzy. Yes. So it's going to be kind of difficult, as Genesis is also one of the other NorCal players that has just been running wild with a character like Laura.
I can't wait to see it, everyone. We are already ready for match number 2. Let's get to the floor.
And that being said, with that format, again, Nigel is staying on the winner stays on seat, right? He was the one that took down Pavocado, putting Team SoCal in the lead. And I like that little celebration that Team SoCal had to kind of up their bar. They're like, yeah, you did that.
Good representation, absolutely.
And it's important. It's imperative to make sure they're in high spirits.
Now, this is going to be a very stressful match for Nigel, not just because he's on TV, but Laura is one of Balrog's toughest matchups, period. This character, her toolkit, very directly counters what Balrog has going for him. Basically, the amount of pressure that she can apply on him, he has very few tools to actually get out of those situations.
Let's see if that phases Nigel at all. Genesis Frenzy trying to trade blows with Nigel. Already into the corner, a tough place to be. Great block on the overhead. Wasn't close enough to get that jab extender after that. We got a stray hit, but no combos. Nice throw tech. Here comes Genesis. Not at all. Gets stunned in round 1.
This could be it. Oh, he went for the reset. Wasn't confident that the first combo was going to finish it, and here we go. Laura is now doing her thing.
Tons of scrambles. Genesis Frenzy does get the command grab. This could be downhill for Nigel. The blocks are there. The defense is great. Gets the crush counter. Didn't go into V-trigger activation. He believes in himself. 100% getting that first round of game 2.
Nigel with the safe pressure into V-trigger activation. Once he saw that one hit clipped into V-trigger, he knew it was all over.
Galaxy Brain confirms from Nigel. Getting clipped with that crush counter is Nigel, actually. Genesis Frenzy now getting his chance at offense. Nice check on the button. The mix-ups incoming 2 times in a row. Make it 3 and make it sweet.
The high-lows are crazy right now. Genesis Frenzy still in it, but under full pressure. Great anti-air. Now it's her turn. The pressure mounts. Where's the guess? Goes for the throw. Applying the good frame trap pressure. Stun is very high on Balrog's side. Goes down a bit because of the V reversal.
Excellent choice, but it's going to be very, very close to Ender. Yes, sir. Genesis catches Nigel walking backwards with a low medium kick. Just enough to seal the deal for round number 2.
Round 3, the final round here. Bets on a jump. No one gets hit there, but this is definitely Laura's pressure game right now. Genesis Frenzy.
A lot more confidence coming from Genesis Frenzy, neutral, and then into the button presses, gets the command grab. Now it's going to be his turn to play. That's a giant punish coming from Nigel. The mix-up's coming again. How many times? Check his legs. 2 more times with V-reversal. Get himself out of there.
Oh no, and the full jumping combo, huge damage right there. Even though the life totals are even, being in the corner is such a difficult position to fight your way out of. Finds his way out with a back throw. Big comeback potential here. A great V reversal to stay alive.
And he catches him all the way from downtown, sealing the deal. That's 2 solid games from Nigel for Team SoCal.
And we see Nigel representing that big, beefy, risky overhead so often, but in a best-of-1 format, it only needs to hit once.
Team NorCal, they're trying to figure out who to send up there. Again, in the format, it's winner stays on. They have to figure out who's going to be the counter pick for the likes of Balrog from Nigel.
I mean, this is a very dangerous moment for Team NorCal. They've already exhausted their best picks against Balrog because they've already lost their Laura. They've already lost their G. So who's actually going to go in? Maybe LPN's Abigail? Maybe?
You know, that's the thing, though. If he manages to seal the deal against Nigel, he's stuck with Abigail, and he's not going to go full potential with Bison, right? So that's the beauty of going the back and forth with the current style they have in the tournament, right? But that being said, you see, again, there were plenty of chances for Genesis Frenzy to get started, and when he did so, it was a dangerous thing. Yeah, and that check was just well done from Genesis.
Yeah, it should be very visually obvious, the devastating pressure game that Laura can apply once she actually gets that knockdown. Oh, and that big overhead, big risk, but big risk has big reward in this game.
That's the
Absolutely,
thing,
that's how you win these matchups.
So we now see Nigel take it 2-0. And we saw NorCal clearly having a deep conversation there on what to do with it. And I know what you said about not having any characters to go against Balrog, but clearly the character that was good against Balrog didn't do anything anyway.
It wasn't enough in the end,
Well, it's going to be really exciting. But for right now, everyone, we're going to join Mike once again on the floor.
Right, Kelly. Hey, thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Vicious and Brad. We're looking over here toward the game, and I don't know if you saw, but for a second, LPN was in the seat going next, but they switched it out last second for Alex Myers. The reason I mentioned LPN is, well, I have someone very special to him, and he's special to you. This is Rose Silvestri. She's dating LPN. And Rose, you were telling me that your relationship has kind of grown along with this entire industry. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when we first started, it's actually in 2011, I was just a photographer at the time, and they needed a photo of LPN, and I kind of grew my career that way as well, being able to start within the fighting game community, help get some exposure for it, and then we slowly kind of blossomed a relationship from there.
Wow, so maybe it's your relationship that helped this industry grow, perhaps? I don't know. I think it was also a scam. I was telling LPN, I think that you worked it so that you got contracted to get a picture of him, right? No, I think there's a little fangirl going on there. All right, well, folks, we're going to send it right back to you, Kelly, because we know about this little love affair, and we have a love affair with that whole game as well. We're going to send it right back to you guys.
There is a bit of a love affair going on right now, our love for Street Fighter V, and you know, just our love for sleep. It's a little late here. Want to remind everyone, though, that it is a daylight's forward push time, but we don't need to worry about that, everyone. We're going to be going to a break. Come back just a moment.